Welcome to an introduction to Scratch with Flourish Academy. And in this video, we're going to look at the user interface of the Scratch environment and then just write a little bit of code just to, stir up your interest in programming with Scratch. All right, now, without further ado, let's just get right into it. Thank you. All right, so this is the Scratch environment. You can click on the link below to gain access to this environment, and then also you can click on the link above to watch how to join the Scratch community. All right, so when you get to this environment, after logging into your Scratch details, the first thing you're going to do is to click on create, and that takes you to the user interface of the Scratch environment. And this is where we are going to look at the introduction to Scratch, because you need to understand everything regarding the Scratch environment. So the first part I would want to show you is this part that says on title 97. Now this is where you write the title of your Scratch project. So you just go ahead by just saying the first Scratch project. You give it a title of your choice, and then you press enter key, and that becomes a unique name for your project. That's the first part. And after that, you can also click on the file. You see we have different options. We can save now, you can save a copy, save as a copy, and then you can save to your computer. Now what that would do for you is it will download the file project to your computer, all right, so that you can load it later. But you don't need that. Just click on the save now, and then it saves online on the online platform. All right, good. Now the next part is what I want to look at is the block palette. This is the block palette right here. So we have in the block palette, we have the motion, we have the looks, we have the sound, we have the events, control, and all of these things. So the good thing about the block palette is that they have different block of code for each palette. For example, if I click on the motion, we have move 10, we have all of this instruction for motion, and then the same thing for looks, sound, event, control, sensing, until we get to my blocks. Don't fret, don't get afraid. As time goes on, we're going to be explaining each and every of this block palette, and so I wanted to stay tuned, and then subscribe to our channel, and then share this video if you really love this video. Okay, so now that's the block palette. Now the next part is what I call the script area. Now this is where you write script for your sprites. Now for example, we have a sprite right here in the sprite area. Let's first talk about the sprite area before we come back to the script area. Now the sprite area is where you add sprites to your project. For example, I could decide to add a ball to my project also, and then it shows up right there. So this is the ball. You see, if I add more sprites, I have, you see, more of them in the stage area, as you can see. Now in the sprite area, we have the different properties of the sprites. So as you can see, you can change the name of the sprite right here to anything you want. You see, my sprites. And then also you can change the position of the sprites. If you change the position of the sprite, it changes. You see, this is the X coordinate and this is the Y coordinate. And then you can decide also to make it appear or disappear. You see? All right, so this is appear or disappear for the sprite. You can also decide to change the size of the sprites, to make it bigger, and then the direction of the sprite, where you want it to face. Can you see that? So that is how beautiful this is. But for now, we just want to focus on the interface. So we've talked about the title area, we've talked about the block palette, and now we're talking about the sprite area. All right, so what about the stage area? Now the stage area is where you can also pick different stages. You can decide to pick a different backdrop. You can decide to pick any backdrop of your choice, and you're good to go. So let's decide to pick this one, and then maybe probably I want to pick some sprites. Maybe I want to put AB on this. Yeah, so that's AB, and so So that's it. So, and that's this part also, it's about the orientation of your interface. So we have the one that will actually focus on your script area. This is the script area, like I said. And then this part also is kind of like a moderate display of every part of your user interface. So you can see we have the stage area. This is where you review your work, whatever you're doing. So this is where everything appears. You know, if I decide to add more sprites to it, it appears on the stage area. All right, so that's what we're talking about. And then for the script area, so let me now reduce the size of this because I feel that's too big. So I can reduce the size. You can see what I just did. I just went to the size property of the sprite and then I reduced that sprite. I think we've gained a lot today. All right, so the last part before I end the tutorial is, okay, let's talk about the script area. Now, this is where you use your block palette. You go to your block palette. Let's say, for example, I want to make this sprite move. So I'm going to delete this one for example. I want to make this sprite move, and then when it gets to the edge, it bounces back. So what do? I drag my code. For example, I use the flag key when flag is clicked, which is an event, and then I say move 10 steps forward. You see? And then when you move 10 steps forward, you keep moving 10 steps forward. So I'm going to use the forever loop. So you keep moving 10 steps forward. And while you're moving, let's check that. You see? And that's what's happening. Let's check it again. So you see, it keeps moving. But we're not done yet. What about we want the sprites to bounce back? So we're still going to do that in motion. And then you put if on edge bounce, and then right now it bounces back, but it is turning upside down, which is not what we want. So we're going to change the rotation style. So we're going to say set rotation style to left and right, and that will solve the issue. So when we click on flag again now, it's okay and it's normal. Can you see that? So you could try that on other sprites, and that would also work. So you could say, okay, let's use, for example, I want to use every. I think every will be more because every has different costume. So I'm going to just drag this and put. That's another way of copying code from one sprite to another. You just hold it down and then you drag it to the, and then when you notice the shaking effect, you drop it, and then that's it. So I can delete this one and then I maintain every. But now I want to create a working effect. So as you can see, we have different working effects. So it means that when we move this like this, it gives a kind of working effect. See, keep moving like this, it gives a kind of working effect. So what do? I just go straight to looks, and then I say switch next costume while it's moving. I say next costume. Oh, I did that twice. I'm sorry about that. And this is okay. So watch this. If I click on flag now, you see, and that's it. It looks like it's working, but that's too fast. So I could also decide to say go to control, and I say wait for 1 second. But I'm going to say wait for 0.5 seconds this time around, so we can notice that, and then this is it. So you can see we created little. This is beautiful because in little time we just created something like this, and then when it gets to the edge, it bounces back. So this is a little introduction. You can check in the description below. I'm going to be posting this link so that you can create something really cool and then send to us, and then we'll talk about it in the next tutorial. All right, so I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this is beautiful. I just want to quickly do a recap. We talked about the block palette. This is the block palette right here, and we'll talk about the title box where you can create your first project, the name for your first project. We also talked about the sprite area. We talked about the stage area, and then the backdrop area, and then the stage area. So I hope this is beautiful. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye.